Even if you're just getting your start in information technology, you probably realize that in order to communicate on the local network or even beyond to the internet, your gadgets need an IP address. How do they get this IP address? We love to use dynamic host configuration protocol. In this IT first step video, let's examine just why we love DHCP. If you go into the IP properties on your Windows 10 laptop, for instance, notice that you can go in and you can statically assign the device an IP address. So you could say, use the following IP address, and then you could carefully type in your IP address, your subnet mask, and then your default gateway. The default gateway is the address of the local router that's going to get us out to the internet, for example. You then have to go in and provide the DNS information that your Windows 10 laptop is going to use. Yikes. Yeah, I can go in and I could certainly do this, but what do you think the chances are that we'll have a typo? And even worse, what do you think the chances are we'll pick an IP address that is in use already on our network? So we love to use dynamic host configuration protocol in order to automatically assign all of the information that you see on screen here that we're going to need. Now, I must admit, for various purposes, I have gone in and I have manually configured all the IP addressing information over and over again throughout my career in information technology. And it's really pretty easy for me to do in like the Windows 10 interface, but boy, is it cumbersome. And guess what? I cannot stand doing it on my smartphone. Here I am in the iPhone, and notice that I'm going to be connecting to the AJS networking 5G Wi-Fi network. And oh boy, do I love DHCP in this case. Notice it's coming in automatically, the IP address information with DHCP, but we could go in and set this to manual, and then we could use the on-screen keyboard on the phone to start entering that information. And this is painful. So painful, in fact, that I had to stop the demonstration at that point because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so cumbersome. I don't want to enter this information in on my phone. What a nightmare. And imagine poor grandma. We just got grandma her new smartphone. She's not going to be able to go in and add the necessary IP address information to that device. Grandma is just getting used to the smartphone to begin with. So we definitely would want dynamic host configuration protocol providing this information, especially to devices like our smartphones. So the default settings when you go into Windows 10 and look at the IP properties are going to be for you to obtain your IP address automatically and to obtain your DNS server address automatically as well. And this is a wonderful thing. Now, on the next tab in the IPv4 properties is something pretty interesting, and it's an alternate configuration. What's going on here? Well, if your machine cannot get via DHCP its IP address information, well, then alternate configuration will kick in. And it's set to do the automatic private IP addressing for us. And that's an address in the 169 range. It actually is a smaller range than all of the 169 space, but it will certainly begin 169 in the Microsoft world. And this is so that your machine can communicate with other machines in the local network with that special address. It wouldn't be valid for communications on the internet. And notice if you didn't want to use the APIPA address, as they're known, the automatic private IP address, well, then you could configure the IP address you want this machine to have if the DHCP server is unavailable. Fortunately, it's rare that we can't get to our DHCP server, and that's wonderful. Notice from an IPv6 perspective, the next generation of IP technology, the same thing can apply. We can get our IPv6 address and DNS information automatically, In fact, what's the beauty, one of the many beauties of IPv6, is that we can get the address automatically in more ways than just a DHCP server. So this gets even more exciting in the IPv6 world. So we sure do love the dynamic host configuration protocol, and we sure do need it. We don't want to be entering all that IP address information in all those various gadgets, especially the smartphone, as you saw. So our devices are set up to use DHCP automatically, aren't they? Yeah, that's the default setting. And when you go with an internet service provider and they come into your home or your office and they set you up with your router, your Wi-Fi router, that has a DHCP server all set up inside it. So your device is a DHCP client and it automatically finds that DHCP server, and we'll talk about that in future videos, and the DHCP server will give your device its IP address information automatically. DHCP, we love it, and thanks for joining me in this IT First Step video.